On Friday and Saturday, it's rain showers for most, snowflakes for others. Good Thursday night, East Tennessee. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate here from the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Well, you can see from this pattern, we're about to move into a very unsettled pattern because the flow of air is going to be coming down from the west and northwest, and all those little dots, all those little green specks across Kentucky and Illinois, Indiana, and even Missouri will try to work its way here. Now, when it gets cold enough, we could expect some of that to change over to some snowflakes. In fact, it's concerned enough that the National Weather Service has already issued a winter weather advisory for the Smokies heading into Friday and into Sunday. So wait a minute, that's a long period of time. Yes, in fact, it's a 36-hour period of time. Starts 2 o'clock on Friday, runs till 2 a.m. Sunday. This from our friends at the National Weather Service. And in their verbiage, in their language, 1 to 4 inches. Come on, it doesn't snow in April. 1 to 4 above 3,000 feet. Oh, well, that's pretty specific. That means we won't see anything here, will we? Well, probably will, but may not amount to much either. But up to about 6 inches plus in some of the top peaks, like your Clingman's Dome and your Mount LeConte. So just so you know, heads up, it's coming. Almanac today hit 65 degrees. Well, what were you going for? I was going for 66. Oak Ridge got to 66, but we got to 65. I also said wind gusts would be around 30. We had a peak gust of 33 miles per hour. Oak Ridge had a gust of 29. So I think that was pretty fair. It wasn't 20, wasn't 25, it was 33. So we were expecting some gusty winds today. That's what we delivered. It was 66 in Oak Ridge and in Athens, 63 in Morristown and Newport, and only in the 50s, mid-50s from Crossville to Jamestown, back toward 59 in Wartburg. And you can see these clouds are going to be with us, a mostly cloudy sky maybe for a while, maybe partly cloudy for others, but I think when you wake up, you're going to find more clouds than not, and we will have some spots of rain developing, as we saw a moment ago. Here, let me show you some maps. I think you probably want to see this more than me, but this is how much we're projecting and some of the modeling. Some of this is, whoa, that's pretty impressive. Could we possibly get that kind of snow? Well, this is just one solution. It's kind of like better or worse. Some of you say, I don't like the better, I don't like the worse, I don't want to see any of it. Well, the darker blues in the Smokies may be 4 or 5 inches, and that's what's suggested here, at least in the modeling between Sevierville, Gatlinburg, and Mount LeConte, and maybe a half inch in parts of the plateau. But even though it shows up as 0 in Knoxville, I still expect we'll see some flakes. Some of you will say, I saw a snowflake. I don't know how is that possible? The temperature's in the 40s. It's not in the 40s at 5,000 feet up. So it has a chance to maybe melt, and you will see perhaps even some flakes here in the valley. Now, that was Solution 1, or Exhibit A, and we'll go to Exhibit B. Here's one that you might like a little bit better if you're a snow lover, but maybe you're not a snow lover in April. This one suggests about a half inch of snow in the Knoxville area, and that could be what falls. So what you're saying is we could get some snow. That's exactly what I'm saying. And here you can see about 5 inches plus around Mount LeConte in some dark blue areas. That would include southern sections of Blount County in the Smokies. But Maryville proper, maybe less than a quarter inch, maybe a third of an inch, not a whole lot. Maybe an inch falls between Wartburg, but maybe 2, Jamestown and Crossville. So I don't want weather to surprise you. I want you to know that this is what the model is saying, and it's not gospel, but it is going to show you that we're in a very unsettled pattern for the next 2 days. In fact, I'm going to show you what I just showed you, but from more of a macro view, taking a look at the entire volunteer state. So if you were traveling and you heard the word snow, I don't want to leave the house, I heard it's going to snow. Look at where all the areas are getting some flakes. Maybe Jackson, maybe Nashville. Come on, Huntsville? That's crazy. I'm telling you what, Aldrich, you come up with some of these crazy patterns. I don't come up with it. I'm just the messenger. Just the messenger. And if you think it doesn't snow in April, you haven't done your homework. Well, that's good, because I did mine for us. That helps out. We've had 9 measurable snows in Knoxville since the year 1884. Now, I was looking at the 1883-84 winter season, but essentially April in 1884 was the going back as far as the snowfall measurements go. Now, we've had a trace. What is a trace? A trace is like, I had a trace of snow. I can't even measure that. What is that? Just it's like dandruff, right? But a trace of snow has been reported 41 times in the last 138 years, going back to 1884. 41 times. So it's not unheard of. It's just that if you were to look at the normals that we're using now from 1991 to 2020, we have a 0. It looks like it never snows in April, but we know a little bit better than that. We know from 1916 it snowed 0.1. And in 1886, records were kept, a very good historical record, I might add, from 1886, 0.2. And in 1891, 0.2. And in 1910, 0.7. But if you look at 1983. Now you're talking about, maybe we were alive then. Okay, 1983. Many of you were alive in 1983. I was alive in 1983. 2 inches of snow fell in Knoxville in that particular year. But if you want a little bit more snow, go to 1904, 3.5. You want 4.5, you got 1901, and then a big one. Back when Richard Nixon was in the White House, 1971, 7 inches of snow. In April, oh yeah, that was like on the 6th and 7th of April. That was, wow. And this weekend's like, what, the 8th of April? Yeah, so it can happen, usually in the first week. But the granddaddy of them all deserves a lot of respect. If you can get 10.7 inches of snow in Knoxville in April, in 1987, 35 years ago, I suspect if you're 40 or under, you probably don't remember that year. But that was a big one. And I've talked to people who remember it. I've talked about that when I was on Merle Radio. I was like Wish Radio. We were talking about someone called in. Yeah, I remember that. And so there are some people who remember the 1987 snow in April. But that occurred around mainly the 3rd of April, and a little bit occurred on the April 2nd. So it was one event. So if you put into context where we stand right now, we have not, I repeat not, had a trace of snow in April so far. But that could change. But we did get 6.5 over spring break for Knox County students on the 12th of March. We had just a little bit, 0.1 in February. Over 4 inches occurred in January. And of course it was a warm December because it was 69 degrees on Christmas, last Christmas. And some would say, 69 degrees, bah humbug, I wanted a white Christmas. Well, we didn't have a white Christmas. And we didn't even have a white Thanksgiving because we had no snow in Thanksgiving either. But if you add those up, what do you get? You get miraculously, 10.7 inches of snow, which is the same amount we had 35 years ago. Coincidence? I think it's funny. I think it's ironic, but it's also funny. Because if we get just a trace this weekend at McGee-Tyson Airport, they say, well, that makes 42. That'll make it 42. Because we are not, I repeat, not getting a whole season's worth of snow. But to put it into context, that's what Knoxville got 35 years ago this April. By the way, headlines: chilly tonight, mostly cloudy, cool on Friday, rain for most, snow for others. And we talked about who are likely to see it. It's more likely higher elevations. Sadly, there have been 13 tornadoes, mainly across Georgia, over the last 24 hours. And of course, we had a tornado watch, but we didn't have necessarily the issues that they had further south. If you take some of these little circles here, these little red dots, they represent the tornado reports that we got from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. So the Futurecast takes a look at what's coming our way. You're going to love this. If you'd like to see how this progresses, take a look at the raindrops by 7 a.m. Maybe some of you are dealing with rain in Oneida, Jamestown, first thing tomorrow morning. It's a possibility. And then by midday, there's probably more of you, which is why I have a 60% chance of rain tomorrow, maybe some wet flakes in other areas. But watch for the blue. The change over to blue may be a little maybe reserved at 4 p.m. in the Smokies. But if you give it time, once the sun starts to go down on Friday evening, things could change. Oh, I see more blue. Isn't that interesting? And it's in Crossville now. Oh, that's curious. Oh, it's northwest of Kingston. I see some flakes. You're going to get all sorts of reports of, hey, it's snowing here. Oh, that can't be. It's in the 40s. It can't possibly be snowing. It's in the 40s. Not in the plateau. It's 37, 11 o'clock tomorrow night around Crossville, and it is perhaps snowing where you are. La Follette might be seeing some flakes as well, and also around Gatlinburg. That's a possibility. There's 12:30 morning on Saturday. Starts early for some of you, but then it slows down, and then it comes racing back here at 9 o'clock around Morgan County, Scott County, some snowflakes there, and then all of a sudden, whoa, what was that? That's Union County. I see some snow. I see snow in Granger County. Could it possibly be snowing on some of the higher elevations in Granger County? I think so. And this is midday. I mean, you're like in the 40s, and it's snowing. That's the most curious thing. I've never seen anything. I've lived here all these years of my life. I've never seen. That's what some of you are going to say. You're going to say that. You say, yeah, he said you would say that because it's so cold upstairs. That's why it's snowing. And down below, it's still acting like it's April, right? It's still in the 40s, perhaps, but maybe not in the afternoon because now we see more blue mixing in with the raindrops. So it's a very cold, blustery pattern. I think we'll be lucky to get to 47 on Saturday afternoon. But it's snowing. Boys, it's snowing south of Maryville by 6 o'clock Saturday. There will be so many reports. Somebody will be like, man, it's snowing all over the place. I don't know where you're not seeing it. You just have to drive to the higher elevations, and you're likely to see much more of it. That's my expectation. By the way, tonight, down to 40, partly cloudy, chilly, spots of rain, 5 to 10 mile-an-hour winds. Tonight, we're down to 36, maybe a little chilly. When you wake up in Jamestown, Oneida, Wartburg, and Crossville at 36, we're around 40 in Knoxville. Friday's outlook, rain for most, snow for others. I mean, we're going to scratch and claw just to get to 50. And, throw in those winds. Since you're so good at those gusts, Aldrich, I want to know, what kind of gusts do you think we're going to have tomorrow? Tomorrow afternoon, 35 to 40. 35 to 40 with a sustained wind, generally 5 to 15 for much of the day. So that's the way I see things shaping up tomorrow, and it's a mostly cloudy day. High temperature tomorrow about 48, Morristown, 48 in Oak Ridge, 45 in Crossville. As we look at those high temperatures well below normal. Normal high, it's about 69 this time of year. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast, 47 on Saturday, so it's even colder. 64 now, I bumped it up. Hey, that's optimistic. Sunday looks like a gem of a day, but it starts awfully cold at freezing. So if you have potted plants, you've got concerns, you've started in the garden or the yard, please note, coldest morning will be Sunday morning. Monday, I should say, we got to jump up to 77. That's crazy. And then back into the low 80s on Wednesday with more unsettled weather Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. By the way, keep track of all the weather using the Captain Accurate Weather app. Now with my friend Pete Michaels' Traffic, weather and traffic, perfect together and at your fingertips. Keep you and your family safe. Just search Captain Accurate at the App Store and Google Play. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. So weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.